Alright, so let's take a look at a few more examples that the video we just saw kind of described. Here's a problem that we're going to work on, which reads as 2 times parentheses n plus 3, close parentheses, plus 5n equals 17. Now, once again, if we stick to our grocery bag analogy, what's going on here is that we came home from shopping and we have two bags with the parentheses representing the bag, and inside each bag is n plus 3. Now over here though, this is not in the parentheses, so these were 5n or 5 items that we forgot to bring a bag for, and so they got carried separately without any bag at all. So when we get home, they're already out of the bag. We don't have to worry about taking them out. So all we have to worry about is over here, is before we group together our groceries and put them in all the proper places in our pantry, we first need to get these two bags emptied out. So once again, what we want to do here is do distributive property. Distribute this multiplication of 2. 2 bags times n in each bag is 2n. And then here, 2 times 3 is 6. So this becomes 2n plus 6. Now our other items are just sitting there on the counter, so we bring them down. And once again, the 17 is not something we're worried about right now because it's the other side of the equal sign. And that's something we'll get into when we're solving the equation. Right now we're just focused on simplifying. Alright, so now what we can do is start grouping our items. Here, our like items here is the 2n plus 5n, and it's this plus sign that goes with the 5n. So when we move it over here, 2n plus 5n, the plus 6 is a different type of item. It's just 6 of something else. These are n's, and this is just a plain old 6. So we'll keep that separate over here, equals 17. And then of course, since these are like items, we can add them together. 2n plus 5n is 7n altogether, plus our 6 other items, equals 17. And so that's how we simplify an equation. We look for what things are inside the parentheses or inside bags. We take those out first, and then we look for our like items so that they can be grouped together and put away. Alright, let's try another problem. Now, this is one we often see a mistake on because we're not visualizing the whole grocery bag concept, especially right here. A lot of people want to first see this 3 plus 7 because you're of course reading the mathematical sentence left to right, and immediately you see 3 plus 7, you want to add it up and make 10. But we have to remember here that what's going on in this equation, if I read the whole thing, is it's 3 plus 7 times 2x plus 4, close parentheses, equals negative 38. So this 3 represents just 3 items that were sitting outside of our grocery bags, but this 7 represents something different. It represents how many grocery bags we have. So this 7 and then this 3, even though they're just normal numbers, do represent different things. 3 items, but then this means 7 grocery bags. So again, first thing we would naturally do with groceries, take all these items out of our 7 grocery bags. So 7 grocery bags with 2x each, 14x. 7 grocery bags with 4, 7 times 4, 28. And then these are our loose items that never got a bag, so they're already out on the countertop, we just recopy. Now, once again, we look for our like items here. In this case, 14x is all by itself, so it's fine. But then here we've got 3 and 28, just normal numbers, so they're considered like items. So what we'll do is we'll move this plus 28 over to here, leave the plus 14 separate, and then add our like items. 3 plus 28 is 31, and 31 plus 14x equals negative 38. And so there's our equation simplified. And again, solving, we'll get to that in a little bit later. Alright, let's do one last one. Now in this one, once again, we have to also realize that here our grocery bag example kind of falls apart a little bit because we can't have minus 3 or negative 3 grocery bags. But if we stick to the general idea, it'll still help us. So this 5G, which is not in parentheses, is something that's just sitting outside on the counter. There was no bag for this, so it's already out of the bag. But here we have to do this part. And I think the thing we have to be careful about here is that this minus sign goes with the 3. Just like on our example beforehand, when we started moving stuff around, this plus sign goes with the 28, this plus sign goes with the 14x, and so in this case, this minus sign goes with the 3. So when we distribute, we have to make sure that that minus, or in this case we can treat it like a negative, goes with our 3. So when I do 3 times 6 here, I'm actually doing minus 3 or negative 3 times 6, which becomes a negative or minus 18. Same thing here. A minus or negative 3 times plus g or positive g. Well, negative 3 times positive g, a negative times a positive is a negative or minus sign. And then 3 times g is 3g. The 5g, which was already out of the bag, it just gets recopied here, equals 81. Now, once again, moving things around so we can group them together. We've got 5g over here, minus 3g here, and it's this minus sign that goes with the 3g. So when we move it, it'll be 5g minus 3g. And then this minus 18 is just separate because it's a different type of item, equals 81. 5g minus 3g is 2g. Minus 18 is still separate, equals 81. And once again, we've cleaned up and simplified the equation so later we can start solving it.